Greetings to all my fellow watch enthusiasts on YouTube and Facebook and wherever else this video might be seen and shared. Celine Driver once again, bringing you another unboxing and review of a watch that is mine. This is a very unusual watch. A watch that I've had my eye on ever since it was released in 2020 as a follow-on to a watch basically from the 60s, really, and early 70s. Those of you who are familiar with the Bulova, not Bulova, for God's sake, stop saying Bulova. Bulova. The Bulova Accutrons, which was a electric watch, electric watch that used a tuning fork and the oscillations of a tuning fork to synchronize the watch's timing. This is something that predated quartz by at least a decade or more, and was technology that was so sophisticated it was used by NASA for their spacecrafts. And so worrisome was the fact that this type of watch timing technology was so advanced at the time that U.S. intelligence agencies were afraid that the Soviets would get a hold of it and advance their own space and rocket program by years by getting a hold of this. So the fact that this watch back then made it into production for civilians was amazing. Well, of course, the most famous of the Accutrons was the Space View, which actually started out as a store display of the watch mechanism, was not actually intended for sale, but actually went on sale due to customer demand for basically a see-through watch. And unfortunately, the quartz watches which came out, which were much less expensive and just as accurate as the old Accutrons were, sort of killed the Accutron watch off, but didn't kill the brand. Now, Bulova has spun Accutron off into their own brand, and in 2020 they came out with tribute watches. Let's see. Anyway, to celebrate the old Bulova Accutrons. And inside this very nice cardboard box is the wooden inner box, which we'll get to in a second, with all the paperwork down at the bottom. You got some paperwork, some literature. You've got the international warranty, and you've got the subscribe to the Accutron show with a QR code on the back, which I don't want to show because I don't want my phone to automatically go to the QR code site. I want it to be here, concentrating on this lovely watch. Now, inside the wood box, of course, we have the hang tag. Whoops. But you didn't come here to see hang tags. You came here to see the watch. Now, the watches came in two flavors. They came in the 2020, which had a more conventional strap connection, and then they came in the DNA version, which is the lugless version with the integrated bracelet, strap in this case, sorry, not bracelet, with it's screwed down and it's proprietary. And I know it's proprietary because nobody else makes straps for this watch, and I'll get to that in a minute. But basically what we have here is the 2020, 21, 22 version of the old 1960s, early 70s Space View watch. It's obviously a fully skeletonized watch, and the bridges and plates in this case are blue. But this does not use the old tuning fork design. That design has gone away. Instead, what you have is what they call an electrostatic movement. The movement is all electric. It's charged by the movement of the watch on your arm. It's not windable. You can't wind the watch. You cannot put this on a winder and have it charge the movement. What it does is you have what do we call it? It's the accumulator, which is this big rotating drum right here. You can see the more you move the watch, the more the accumulator moves. The accumulator powers these two turbines right here. I don't think they're moving at the moment. They might be. Anyway, the turbines, one of them is it powers the second hand, which you can see moves in a very fluid motion. It's not a tick-tick motion like a chronograph, like a quartz. It moves in a very smooth sweep motion. The other turbine powers the hour and minute hands. It's a very simple watch in terms of function. It's a simple three-hander. All it does is tell time. There's no date complications, nothing in there like that. It is a huge watch. It is. I'll get to the measurements later, but it is a very, very big watch. The only measurement where it's not very big is the lug to lug, which I measured from here to here. It's not a non-screw down crown. I don't remember if the movement hacks or not. It does. Okay. Yeah, it does. The watch is very unique in the fact that it does all it can do to save power when you're using it, because this is a very power intense movement. It does have two power save modes. Mode 1, it only involves the second hand. If this watch stays still for 5 minutes, the second hand will come back up to the 12 o'clock position and stop. The watch, however, will continue to keep time. If it doesn't move for 10 days, the watch will then shut down completely. But it will continue to keep time, but it won't even move the hands, the hour and minute hands, for a little while, but then it too will just run out of power. So if this watch sits around for a week and a half, 2 weeks, it will just basically stop dead, and you have to reset it. And then to get it moving again, or when it's in the first power save mode where the second hand stops at noon, if you want to get the second hand moving again, you basically swing your arm, you put the watch on, and you swing your arm in a chopping motion 3 to 5 times at a fairly measured pace, and it will get the second hand going again. So it is a little, it's a little quirky, I gotta say. And the fact that the strap is a proprietary strap kind of limits it a little bit. When I first got the watch, I bought this watch as a previously owned watch from a gentleman named Keith, who I met through the Random Rob Discord server. He had this watch up for sale, and I responded after a few days of debating with myself whether or not I wanted to, whether I wanted to get the watch or not, and we negotiated a good price, and there you go. And now if I zoom in on the face, you can see that it is very detailed. You can see the turbine moving. You can see the second hand moving. Ignore the glare from the phone. I can't do anything about that. And the fact that Keith happened to have the watch, the exact one I wanted, which was the DNA with the blue plates for sale, really sweetened the deal for me. And we came up with a price, and I got the watch basically the next day because he used UPS, and UPS is the best of the worst. So thank you, Keith, for selling me this watch. Now, let me give you a wrist shot, of course. Now, I have gotten used to the rubber strap. Again, not my favorite choice of strap, I have to admit. I would rather it be a leather strap. I have put an inquiry into Accutron to see if they do make a leather strap as an option for this watch. Of course, they haven't gotten back to me yet, so I may have to email them again. But on my 7¼ inch wrist, I mean, I've gotten used to the rubber strap to complete my thought. I like it. It wears well. It fits well. It does feel a little bit sticky and draggy, but not too bad. It is a high quality rubber strap. It's not an FKM, but it's nice. But on my 7¼ inch wrist, the watch fits beautifully. This is a big watch. Do not be mistaken. Anything under a 7-inch wrist, this watch is not really going to work well, despite the short lug to lug. The problem is, you can see I'm pressing on this part of the strap. It's not moving, so the across the wrist measurement is fairly broad, and it is a tall watch. So under a dress cuff is out of the question. Now under a jacket or a sweater, definitely going to work, but you've got to understand, this is it's not a small watch. It's not a sports, it's not a dress watch. So plan accordingly. It is also only a 50-meter water resistant watch. And they say now there's an instructional video that more correctly, Accutron puts out. And they say, do not get this watch wet if you can help it. 50-meter water resistance means obviously in a rainstorm or washing your hands, you're probably going to be okay. They are specific. Do not submerge this watch. This is not a screw down crown. It is not sealed for immersion. Don't get it wet. Also, they are very, very specific. Don't open the watch. Although, there are, I think, places on here for a tool to grab onto. Maybe, or is that just a shadow screwing with me? Anyway, I don't know if this case is easily opened or not, but they say if you open this watch, you void any warranty, and you're probably going to damage the watch beyond the ability of someone other than an authorized service center to repair. There is an authorized service center in the United States. I think it's out on the left coast somewhere, but they are very specific. Don't open it. Don't submerge it. Okay. I'm not going to argue with them. 50-meter water resistance, as I said. 45-millimeter diameter case. Now, for my 7¼ inch wrist, it works. As I said, I don't think anything, maybe I'll amend my statement. 6¾ inch wrist might be able to get away with this. But if you have a small wrist, don't bother. You're not going to enjoy it. 15.6 millimeters thick. It is a sapphire crystal. It is heavily domed and sloped. It gives great distortion off axis. It really looks great. But it is a thick boy, 15.6 millimeter. Lug to lug, lug width Really kind of hard for me to measure the maximum lug width. I kind of ended up going, I got my caliper as close as I could to this point right here. It's 27 millimeter. And it's 53.3 millimeter tip to tip. Now again, the fact that this watch doesn't flex much more than this when you hold it down means that it's probably even wider than that. But I measured from metal to metal, here to here. It's pretty much a lugless design. So 53.3 millimeter across. It's not a small watch, my friends. But it is comfortable to wear. It's not overly heavy. It is a stainless steel case with a coating. But it's beautifully made. It really is beautifully made. Even this butterfly clasp works pretty well because you have the ability to move this part. You know, you pop this part down, and there's your pin your pin, and obviously find your hole, snap it back into place. For me, it's on the 1, 2, 3, 4th from the smallest end. So it's a lot of tail left. So someone with an even bigger wrist than myself, such as my friend Devor, my favorite Croatian, with I think damn near an 8-inch wrist, or Tommy Big Time. Shout out to Tommy Big Time with that big old wrist of his. This will fit very comfortably. But like I said, small-wristed people, you might want to wait for Accutron to try and refine the electrostatic movement and see if they can shrink it down a bit and fit it into a, say, a 41, 42 millimeter case before that'll work for you guys. I am, as the Brits say, I am chuffed to be able to add this watch to my collection, which is getting out of hand, but that's another story for another day. And thank you once again to Keith. I think he's a subscriber to my channel. So if he wants to put a comment in and announce himself to the world as the previous owner, feel free, sir, but I'm just going to stay with the first name. Thank you once again for selling me this watch. It's beautiful. And I hope you found this video to be entertaining, useful, informative. If you did, please click that thumbs up for me. The thumbs up clicking does help with YouTube search algorithms and helps bring people to the channel. That ain't a bad thing. Comments, questions, suggestions down below. I do read them all. I do respond to them all. However, if you are going to try and troll me or insult me, or you're going to leave links to bad places on the internet, I'm simply going to delete that comment and block the commenter. If you're new to the channel, of course, welcome. I'm glad you found my channel. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you'll take the time to enjoy many, many videos that I have. All I ask in return is that you click that subscribe button down at the bottom right of the viewing window. Don't forget to click the bell icon too, so when I upload new material or I do a live stream, you will be alerted to those events. And as I always say at the end of my videos, it is a crazy old world out there. It is not getting any less crazy. Trust me. So please, be careful out there, be safe, be well. See you soon.